Okay, so beginning today's all levels 60-minute practice from child's pose. Take the knees wide, big toes together, fold the torso inside. Reach your arms out in front and hang heavy for a moment. Turn into yourself, to your breath. I always see my practice on the yoga mat not as a place to tune out, but indeed to tune more deeply inside. To know how to best move in this difficult world. My intention for us today is to move with a bit of sweetness and grace for ourselves so that it is easier to do that off of the mat as well. Start by walking your hands over towards the right side. Be up on the fingertips, forearms high. Hollow out the armpits and get a nice long side body stretch. Walk the hands across the center and on over to the second side. And then back to the middle. Rise to all fours. And a bit of a quick pace with cat and cow. Just kind of pulsing back and forth, not leaving yourself in any one place. Blow the air out through the mouth with every exhale. Inhale, breathe in through the nose. Okay, and then slow it down. Belly down, chest forward, eyes, tailbone up, wag a little bit. Stay with cow pose for 2 breaths. Feel free to keep the eyes closed. And then switch it to cat pose. Press down through the hands and knees around the back. Release the head. Change to downward facing dog. Today, rather than focusing on one particular peak pose, we're looking at a nice well-rounded potpourri practice, if you will. Pedal out the feet. Let the head shake a little bit. And then settle into a bit more stillness in the outer form here in downward facing dog. Evenly press the hands down and forward while dragging thighs back and heels down. Change back to child's pose. And take twisted child's pose. Thread the right arm under the left. Hips can be higher or lower here as you set right ear, shoulder, side of the face down towards the mat. And then unwind and give the second side a go. Left arm under. Unwind. Downward facing dog. Lift the hips up and back. Lift the right leg up into the air. Make the leg straight and lift, lift, lift. Let the hips open a bit towards the side. And pull the knee into the chest. Hover forward like plank pose with the knee squeezed up towards the chest. Stay right in that hover for 4, 3, 2, 1. And then step the foot all the way through. Nice long, low lunge. Proud chest, long spine. Revolved lunge, take the right hand high. And lower the right hand as you do so. Also lower the back knee. We're going for a hamstring stretch, so push the hips back to straighten the right leg. Maybe flex the foot, pull the toes up towards the sky here. And then this one's a little different for me to start. We're going towards a lateral lunge. Take the right foot out to the side. My foot is off of the mat now. And then maybe come down to your forearms. If you're like, I still don't feel much of a stretch, then sit your butt back like you do in child's pose towards your heel and see if that gets you into a nice opening on the inner thigh. Now, I like to keep my foot flat, toes pointed towards the front. You could also flex the foot much like you just did in that hamstring stretch and pull the toes up. And then climb back up to the hands. And now the right leg goes all the way back. And extend the left arm out in front for bird dog. Table balance here. Simply set the hand and the knee back down and stretch to downward facing dog. So we're kind of doing a little 360 view of the hip here. Lift the left leg up into the air. Do the same on the second side. Kind of open a little bit. Let it be free. And then pull the knee into the chest. Hover forward. Hug and hold. Nice deep hip flexion necessary. And then step the left foot all the way into that low lunge. We're so familiar with the low lunge. Square off the hips, long spine, open chest. Take it into the revolved pose, left arm high. That twist in the torso also helps us to get into the outer hip and IT band a bit. All right, and lower the left hand, lower the right knee. Let's get into the back of the leg, the hamstring. So shift the hips back, straighten the left leg. And these need not be like your deepest stretch ever, right? It's our warm-up. If both hands come to the inside of the leg, then left leg out to the side. And again, it might be deep enough for you to stay up on the hands, butt high, maybe down on the forearms, and then maybe butt back towards the heel. Check it out. Play with it. Our March mantra throughout the month is playing in the field of possibilities. Not that different from what I ask on a usual occasion, but it's like, let's try out different practices, different things. Okay, you come back up and then bird dog. So left leg lifts up and right arm out. Flex the foot, point the toes down so hips and shoulders stay face down towards the floor, and we're getting that nice strengthening along the back side of the body. Glutes, hamstrings. Release the hand and the knee. Stretch to downward facing dog. One thing more to get us started here. Step your left foot forward and then spin to the long edge of your mat. It really doesn't matter which way. We're coming into a wide-legged straddle. And reach your head down towards the mat. Now you choose. Hands can stay down on the floor. Hold the outside of your ankles. Or try interlacing the hands behind your back. Squeeze the elbows towards each other and up to the sky. And then maybe straighten the arms and let the hands fall towards your head. We were talking about shoulders, wheel pose, all the flexibility in the spine and shoulders as we started. Ooh, this one always gets me. Nice deep breaths. Okay, and wherever you are, come all the way up to standing. Great, heel toe the feet together. Let's rise to the top of the mat. Take a few rounds of our sun salutation A. Lift the arms to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Ardha Uttanasana. Step back to plank. Lower down to the mat. Peel the chest up, cobra. Push down through the feet and hands. Change to downward facing dog. Breathe here. And then look in between the hands. Make your way forward, a step or a jump. Inhale, half lift. Forward fold. Stand, reach the arms up to the sky. Palms together, pause here for a moment. And can you think of one thing that you can do a little differently in the sun salutation? There's so much routine and goodness in that routine. If you usually have your feet hip distance apart, maybe try them together. Or vice versa. If you stay in a little baby cobra, maybe it's just a little more lift. One thing. Okay, with that in mind, here we go. Let's do it again. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, fold. Half lift. Plank. Maybe it's like the different foot stepping back than you usually do. Through chaturanga into cobra. Downward facing dog. Look in between the hands and step or jump to the front of the mat. Half lift. I kind of almost fell down there. Forward fold. It happens. Stand up, reach the arms to the sky. And palms together, center of the chest. Okay? Now, can you add one more different thing? I'll tell y'all, in the past year, I've really gotten into taking my hands out wide to the side as I come up. I never used to do that because I felt too constrained in a smaller space of a yoga studio. And in my home, there literally wasn't space to do that. And it's kind of fun. So it might be just the change in approach. Forward fold. So now you've got two different things that you're trying. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower down. Cobra. Downward facing dog. If you haven't found that other thing yet, step with like the left foot instead of your right foot first as you come forward, something like that. Here we go. Step or jump up. Half lift. Forward fold. Stand, reach the arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. So just keep thinking like that. Find little changes that you can make and see how it benefits. Okay, Utkatasana now. Bend the knees, sit into the thighs. Chair pose. Exhale, fold over. Half lift. Chaturanga Dandasana, the step back, the lower down. Maybe it's a jump all the way through. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward into the low lunge. Come up for warrior one. Spin the back heel down. Lift your torso. Lift the arms. Try to square your hips and shoulders more towards the front of the mat. Push through the outer edge of the back foot and your front big toe to ground you. Next breath, lower the hands, plank pose. Add or skip the vinyasa here. Everyone downward facing dog. And then left foot forward, spin the right heel down. That back foot should turn in a good 70 degrees. I like to line up heel to heel. More traditional alignment might say heel to the inner arch of the back foot. Lower the hands again, either side of the front foot. Step through plank. Again, add or subtract the vinyasa flow. Meaning you could just hold plank. Great way to strengthen and find stabilization. Okay, look to the hands, make your way forward. Half lift, forward fold, chair pose. Stand all the way up and great palms to the center. Check in, take a couple of breaths. We're gonna do one more sun salutation B. At just that slightly quicker pace, changing movement with each half count of breath. So here we are. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, warrior one. This one's quick. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left foot, warrior one. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. And now you pause here, take several breaths. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Look to your hands, step or jump to the front of the mat. Ardha Uttanasana, Uttanasana, Utkatasana. Stand up, stretch, and bring palms back. Anjali Mudra, prayer hands in front of the chest. Slow the breath, connect inward. Mountain pose. Release the arms down by your side and take a wide stance again, facing the long edge of your mat. Good. keep this little bit of lift of heart rate going. Extend the arms out to either direction and turn your right toes to the side. Triangle pose, reach as far as you can to the right, and then drop the hand down to your shin. If you're using a yoga block, of course, the hand could go to the block or down to the floor. Top arm to the sky. Turn your gaze to look at the top fingertips. If that angers head, neck, or shoulders, look down instead and see if that feels better. Play with it. One more static breath. And then stand all the way back up and switch your feet to point in the opposite direction. Gaze out over the left fingertips. Reach as far as you can, hinge. Good. And then left hand goes down. Doesn't have to reach anywhere, it's just where it lands. Top arm to the sky. And again, look up if it works, to the side or down if it feels better. Imagine your head and your shoulders kind of leaning back into the cushion of a pillow. Nicely done. Come all the way back upright. Wide-legged forward fold is our Prasarita Padottanasana. We've already been here. This time, walk the hands out to be under the line of the shoulders. Stay lifted on the fingertips so you have just a little bit more space rather than having to go down to the palms. And the hands could always be under, again, height of a block, or bend your knees and make that be your prop. Okay, swing the right hand out to the side. And then not just taking the hand or the arm, but from the hips even, twist and turn up towards the sky. Look up. A little different there in terms of letting the left hip kind of dip down, letting your right hip lift up. So the entire body from hips through to head gets to turn. And then lower back down, 2 hands to the mat. Take the left hand out to the side. Hand, arm, shoulder height. And then tone and turn. And again, I am letting the hips take me into that twist today. Okay, lower it down. Now back to the first side. Right hand goes out. This time, everyone take a little bend in the knees if you didn't already. Little bend in the knees. And now keep the hips exactly where they are. Don't let one rise or the other fall. And let that twist be more from like navel and higher and higher and higher. Maybe head gets to turn and look up towards the sky, but notice the difference for yourself. If you can keep the hips square with straight legs and want to go there, that's cool too. And then both hands come down. Second side, left hand straight out. So this might mean that the rotation is different. It's like 80% for me of where it was when I let the hips go with me. That left hand might not get all the way up to the sky. That's okay, because it's all working connected from the movement. Low spine, mid spine, upper spine, across the shoulders. And really sit back down. Hands to the thighs to help you come upright and heel toe your feet in. A little bit of a shake. Good, so really working with our functional movement rather than a specific asana. Back at the top of the mat, lift the arms up to the sky and take your right foot to your upper inner thigh for tree pose. So try to get it high. And you can hold on to it or take the right hand back up to the sky. Of course, if you like to move towards a wall for more balance, you're more than welcome to. Really press today your foot into your thigh and try to push your thigh back out into the foot. So this is a pretty deep hip opener, not just the balance. And then take the arms towards goddess pose. Can you bend at the elbows like goddess? Goalpost, I often say. And kind of, again, lean back a tiny bit. I'm pushing my heel like crazy into my thigh to help steady that balance as I change to a bit of a back bend. And then straighten the arms. Release the arms and the leg. Shake it out. Okay, let's try that tree pose on the second side. I'm going left foot just like you are. So second foot. Grab hold. Do your best to take it high today. Often I'm like, who cares about the height? And really, we're good in any place. But specifically trying to work a little bit higher to get that deep external rotation in the lifted leg. And then arms up. Bend at the elbows, make the goddess the goalpost. Instead of chest moving straight ahead, can you pull the chest a little more up towards the sky? If it pulls you off balance like it's doing for me, I just try again, reset. And then release. Release the arms and the leg, give it all a little bit of a shake. Really excellent. Okay, let's get back to downward facing dog. Put these things together as I like to do in side plank. Balance on your left hand and the outer edge of your left foot. As you do that, step your right foot forward like it's in a kickstand. We're on the outer edge of that left leg and take the right arm up to the sky. And then look at your right foot, should be that kickstand leg. Hold on to your ankle and try to place it onto your upper left thigh so that your right knee points up to the sky. Extend the right arm again. That side plank tree pose, one of my favorite things. The strength, the stability, beauty of the pose, really. And then can you place your right foot back down to the kickstand? So a little more control necessary to place it back down. And then walk the foot back forward to your low lunge. Okay. Now spin your left heel down, your back foot, and go to triangle pose here. Straighten the right leg, lift the left arm to the sky. Triangle pose. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Bend your right knee a lot, warrior two. One breath for reverse warrior, lift the right arm high. And then kind of cartwheel down around the right foot. Step back to downward facing dog. If you like a flow in between, this is a good time to add it in. Otherwise, a couple of breaths in downward facing dog. Okay, from here, we're going to the second side. You start in that side plank. Right hand, and you really are starting from downward facing dog. So the shoulder is not stacked over the wrist. You're pulled at an angle. Right hand, outer edge of the right foot. Step the left foot about halfway up the mat for that kickstand position and lift the left arm high. Friends, of course, everything I teach is progressive in nature. So if taking the foot into tree pose isn't your best bet, you stay right here and practice. If it does work, hold on to your left ankle, place the left foot onto the right leg, push the left thigh into the foot. That connection is what makes this more doable. Left arm to the sky in your side plank tree pose. And then remember, we're trying to come back into the kickstand to come out, place the left foot, and then keep walking it around to the low lunge. Pause for a moment there, left foot forward, right foot back in low lunge. And this changes to triangle pose. Spin the back heel down, toes pointed towards the long edge of your mat. Straighten the left leg, lift the right arm, revolve through the torso like we did from Prasarita Padottanasana, from that wide-legged forward fold. Stand all the way up, bend the front knee, warrior two. A little bit of play and movement, just different combinations. Lift the left arm, let the right leg trail down, right arm trail down. And cartwheel down to your low lunge, step it all the way back, downward facing dog. Again, if you want to add the vinyasa, do that here. And then everyone together do come forward to plank and lie flat down to the belly. This is our wide cobra pose. Be on the fingertips and point your elbows up to the sky. Feel free to have your feet hip distance apart. Press the top of the feet down to the mat. Inhale and roll up. Shoulders, chest, mid-spine, squeezing the glutes. Nice high lifted cobra with the wide arms. And then just gaze over your right shoulder. Let the left shoulder dip down and forward a little bit. Come back up to your center. Slow gaze over the left shoulder. Let your right shoulder move a little down and forward. Come back to center. Exhale, lower it all the way back down. Locust pose, Shalabhasana, so it's hands back, palms up. Ready? Lift everything that we can up to the sky. Lift, lift, lift. And lower it down. Flip over so that we're lying down on our back. And set up for bridge pose here, soles of the feet to the mat. Bend at your elbows so that your hands are like bookends. Right now, just holding the energy in the space above your belly. And then do lift the hips and belly up so that then those hands are right around the edges of your body. Push the back of your head, your shoulders, your feet down, and keep lifting the hips. Breathe here, don't feel stuck. Stay with the hands as is or interlace underneath you. If you're interlacing the hands under you, roll the shoulders a little side to side to get closer to the midline. Bridge pose teaching us strength in glutes and hamstrings and opening through the front body. Release the hands, lower the hips down, and give your knees a squeeze into the chest. Yeah, a little rock from side to side. If you'd like to change this to happy baby, go for it. Hold on to the feet with your hands, with knees wide. And this can even go to a straddle with straighter legs. Do come back to happy baby and then back knees to chest, that supine child's pose. Okay, eagle on our back. Cross the right leg over the left. The feet can stay apart or try squeezing together. And then the right elbow goes under. Hold on to back or front of the palms. If that doesn't feel good, I always say hold on to the shoulders. One less joint involved. Our eagle crunches, fun times always. Have the knees and elbows away from each other. And then on exhale, lift shoulders and try to squeeze them together. Open up. Lift head and shoulders, squeeze and exhale. Open up. Do it just twice more. Squeeze and exhale. Open up and squeeze and exhale. Fun thing here is two sides. Switch. Left leg on top, left elbow on bottom. Knees and elbows start away from one another with your head and shoulders on the mat. Feel your belly button draw down towards the mat. And then ready? Exhale, lift and squeeze. 1, and open. 2, and open. Just 2 more is all. Open, and last one. Squeeze, and open. Make like a dead bug, straight arms and legs up to the sky. Rock yourself into boat pose. So lift up. Be on your sit bones. Hold the crease behind the knees and lift your feet off of the floor. Good. Again, lots of progressive work that you can do here. Legs bent or straight. With legs bent or straight, arms holding or out to the side. Oh, just to make it really fun, tap a heel down and up, other heel down and up, heel down, up and down, up. Pull knees to chest, rock back down to your back. And set the feet again for bridge pose. Friends, here you can go back to bridge pose with the bookend arms. Bridge pose with the hands interlaced underneath you. Or Urdhva Dhanurasana is our wheel pose, upward facing bow, with the hands tucked right under the shoulders. Elbows should point up towards the sky and be able to see in your peripheral vision. I always think the key to this is remembering that it has to have bridge pose first. So everybody goes to bridge pose, lift the hips. Now, the pressure to push down into your hands so that you can lift the head and change to the crown of the head, top of the head, not the crown. Maybe hands need to go a little wider here, but you should still be able to see your elbows and your peripheral vision. If you're lifting up off of the head, I like to lift my heels up first, give a little more space, and then press through the hands. Instead of thinking of pressing straight up, you have to think of pressing through your arms. Get in a little bit of a rocking motion, perhaps. And then heels down if it works. The legs power the movement. Come back all the way down if you're still up. And everybody gets to hug the knees into the chest again. Let the arms fall out to a T shape. If you've got less room, go to your goalpost arms. Everybody drop both knees over towards the right side. So a supine twist here. If you really liked the work of the side plank with the kickstand, try extending your top leg, your left leg here straight. Catch it into your right hand and you'll get that same sort of nice outer hip stretch. And then bring everything across your center. Drop the legs over to the other side. Do that with a bit of control in the abdomen. And stretch the top leg straight if you'd like. Bring back, both bend, release the right foot if you're holding on to it, stack the legs and bring everything back to the center. Stretch arms and legs to be as tall as you can, so arms overhead, reach, reach, reach. Good. And then we'll flip back over to our belly. Set up the hands right under the shoulders, sides of the chest, like for cobra. Do lift for cobra. Always feels nice to come back to a back bend that's, at least for me, feels a little better than the hardness of the belly up back bends. Okay, tuck your toes underneath now. Lift your knees and thighs off of the mat. Chaturanga, can you hover and then press to straight arms, high plank. Press the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Lift the right leg up into the air, three-legged dog. Step all the way forward into your lunge and come up to high lunge. So keep the left heel lifted, torso upright, arms to the sky. Believe it or not, we haven't been here. And then add the twist. You can do this with the back knee up or down. Left elbow though, try to catch the outside of the right thigh in your twisted lunge. Untwist, set the hands down on either side of the front foot and change to pigeon pose. Pull the heel in and then set the right knee behind the right wrist. Lower the left leg, track the leg further back, back, back until you come down to the forearms. Just soften and breathe here. For a moment, changing that mindset to the slow yen release. Okay, I want you to let yourself fall off to the right hip. As we do that, drag the back knee closer in. You're in an S or a Z sit, depending on whichever you want to call it. And then lift your hips up to stretch open across the front body in this mermaid position. Lower the hips back down. And then we're taking a twist. Back leg comes all the way around to cross over. Set the left foot flat on the mat. Try to get your hips pretty square down on the mat. Right elbow crosses over the front thigh. Look over your back shoulder. If this isn't working for you, you can extend that right heel out in front instead of tucking it by your hip. Okay, there's one more little bit to this. You're gonna unwind, lie back, and as you do that, the legs come into figure 4. So I'm keeping my left ankle over the right thigh, and I'm in a figure 4 shape. Pull the right leg in if you'd like that extra bind of hands under the thigh or on top of the right shin. This one might feel a little tight. It hasn't gotten pigeon pose yet. It's kind of a backwards order. Okay, give yourself some momentum to rock back up to a seated position. Uncross the legs. Table pose. I'm going to point my fingers out towards the long edges of the mat. But really, you can rotate your hands any way that feels best for you. And then reverse table. Lift the hips up. I like to look at the belly the whole time and try to lift my hips high enough, belly high enough to hide the knees. And then lower it down. Okay, we have to get to downward facing dog. So you get to choose your way there, choose your own adventure. I'm gonna go as swiftly as possible. It's kind of like going through boat pose and almost like jump through. Up and back to downward facing dog. Choose your adventure to get there, go for it. And then lift your left leg up into the air, 3-legged dog. Step it all the way through, come up to your high lunge. Add the twist, right elbow to the outside. Woo. Again, that back knee can be down for a little extra support. We untwist and take it to pigeon pose. So you pull the foot in and then set the left knee down, right knee down, walk it back. Sleepy pigeon, meaning down on the forearms here. Let it be restful and released. I'll often say the modification for pigeon, if this one doesn't work, is that figure 4 on the back. You also can certainly do more of like an S sit through the legs and still stay in that belly down sort of position. Okay, and then fall off to the left hip, walk the hands back up, pull the right knee into the S-sit, lift the hips, open across the front of the body for mermaid. Sit your butt back down. Take the right foot all the way around. Sole of the foot lands on the mat. If your right seat is way lifted and it can't go down, try this twist with the left leg extended. I usually need it on one side, but not the other. Left elbow over the right thigh or hugging the shin, look over your back shoulder. Good, slowly unwind. Lie down onto your back. Take your legs into the figure 4. Thread the arms through to hold under the thigh or on top of your shin. Okay, and then this time around, you can just kind of unwind the legs. Give yourself that nice child's pose, knees to chest on your back. I like to do like a little rowboat here, knees out and around. Try it in both directions. And then from here, any last unwinding movement. Shoulder stand is your practice. This is always a good point to add it. Or headstand. Find those last bits of unwinding movement for you. And there's no rush then to settle in to your final relaxation pose. Whether you want to take Shavasana lying down or seated, cover up, do the things that feel right. Of course, you're welcome to stay in Shavasana longer. For those ready to close with me, come back to your seated position. Draw the palms together, thumbs to your sternum. It's a way of really honoring the space from this practice into the next. We close in the sacred sound of Om. One translation is that of the sound of creation. So what are you creating next from the goodness that we planted here? Sing along, listen, or tune it out. Empty the breath. Take a deep breath in. I bow in deep gratitude to you, each other, this practice. Thank you. Namaste.